Yo, what up, everybody? What up? What up? What up? I had planned on coming on at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and spend a little time with y'all. But time got away from me. I actually just got home. So had a bit of a busy day today, but I wanted to make sure that I popped in and spoke to y'all a little bit because I just want to share just a few things. So with that in mind, as always, I share my videos, so I'm gonna just go ahead and get started. This is a hashtag Get Real Woke discussion on good debt and bad debt. So you'll know that if you noticed, a couple days ago I made a comment about good debt and bad debt. I kind of posted a little thing on Instagram about that. And I just wanted to kind of elaborate on that a little bit because when I post, I post small enough sound bites so that way they can fit on Twitter and I can just move them around my different social media platforms. But so sometimes that doesn't give me the opportunity to really say what I want to say in the way that it needs to be said. So that being the case, I figured that I'd pop on real quick and just elaborate on that a little bit. So let's talk about good debt and bad debt. And let's understand, the concept of debt. So, when you look at this from a financial standpoint, right, you got to understand that traditional finance is a debt-driven economy, right? It's a debt-driven system and it's a debt-driven environment. So in order for it to continue to function, people have to be able to lend money, people have to be able to, collect interest payments, etc., etc. The core concept of traditional banking environments is lending. And so that is a very important thing to the viability and sustainability of our financial system in the United States. And so, of course, if the core system of our financial markets is lending, then of course you have to have people to lend to. And so with that in mind, the consumer economy, or what they call the retail market, or what on Wall Street we say the retail market in a politically correct way. In an unpolitically correct way, we say Johnny and Joe lunch bucket. That's what we say. Mom and pop. We use colloquial terms like that. But at the end of the day, when we say the retail market, we're talking about the everyday common consumer, that works a 9 to 5, that, are low income or middle class, etc., right? So that's what we're talking about, right? So that's generally 98% of the population. So in order for our lending mechanisms to work, we have to be able to lend to the 98% of the population, right? And so how do we do that? We encourage you to get credit cards. We don't tell you what to do with your credit once you get it. We just encourage you to get it, right? We want you to have credit cards. We want you to have revolving lines of credit. We want you to have all of the different credit mechanisms, because the more credit you have, the more interest we're going to make. That's how that works. It's up to you what you do with that credit, right? And so, the top 2% understand how to make credit work for them, how to make loans work for them, right? While the rest, they use it to, consumers use loans for a number of different things. Sometimes they use them in emergency situations whereby, they decide that, maybe they've lost a job, and maybe they've run into a situation of financial hardship in life. They've got decent credit. They know they can get a loan, so they go get a loan to pay that emergency bill or to deal with that financial hardship, whatever it may be, right? So that is what the common consumer does. Or they decide that they want to take a vacation with their family. They don't get to take vacation often, but they don't have a lot of savings. They don't have a lot of investments. So they decide they'll go get a loan, and they'll take that loan money and they'll pay for their vacation. They'll finance a vacation. They might decide that they want to get married, and, they want to have a really nice wedding and do all of those things. So they'll finance a wedding. So the problem with this, right? The problem with that mentality, the problem with that thought process, or, people get store credit cards. That's the other thing. People get store credit cards, and they'll charge clothes and shoes and purses and, all types of different, clothing or what we'll say retail fashion items on these credit cards. And, they look great, they look nice, they feel good about themselves, but, they get a bill every single month from that creditor, with that interest that they owe. Here's the problem with this kind of debt. This is what I call bad debt. And I'm going to tell you why. So when you finance a wedding, that's a once in a lifetime thing. And I don't want to say it's a once in a lifetime thing, but that's one day. And at the end of the financing of that wedding, you got all that debt to pay. That wedding does not make you any money. So it's all liability. It's all loss. So you borrowed money and now you're going to pay interest to a bank for who knows how long until you pay that loan off for something that's just one day. It's just one day. Marriage is a lifetime. Wedding is just one day. Right? But that loan, that loan that you took generates no return for you. That money is spent and it's gone. Right? You have a financial hardship. You run out and you get a loan because you got some emergency bills come up and you didn't have any money for it. Great, the bill is paid. But now you owe the bank money. That money that you borrowed from the bank made no money for you. None. None. It's total liability. Total liability. Now, you decide you want to finance a vacation. Okay, cool. You got a loan. You went out to Costa Rica or you went out to Bali. Y'all lived it up. You lived your best life, had a great time, did all of that, right? You made some memories. But did that money make you any money? Did that vacation pay you? No, it didn't. And so at the end of the day, you got yourself into debt for a vacation that does nothing for you. It produces no tangible value to your assets. It provides no growth. And so because of that, right, you have financed yourself into a debt situation where now you are a slave to the financial economic environment or the financial system, right? Because you financed a situation that didn't allow you to make any money on it. It didn't work for you. You didn't make the money work for you. You're going to work for that debt now. Now you're an indentured servant to the bank. Because every month when you get a paycheck, you have to pay that debt or you're going to get bad credit. You have to pay that interest or they're going to hit you with, late payments and all of these things, and higher interest charges, all kinds of different penalties for not paying on time, and you're going to destroy your credit, you're going to destroy your character, and it's going to be hard for you to get financing in the future, right? So, you have to think about that. So financing or taking a loan that does not make you any money is a bad situation. It makes you an indentured servant. It makes you a slave in the 21st century, and that is not what you want to do. So, I caution people, all the time on, if you're going to borrow money, what are you borrowing it for? What is the purpose of borrowing this money? Do you need that thing right now? Is it an absolute must? Because if it's not a must, then it makes no sense to borrow money for it. Most people have an issue with the difference between needs and wants. A need is something you can't do without. A want is something that you feel like you can't do without, but you probably can. And the interesting thing about wants, right, is when you think about wants, if you just have the patience to wait a little while, right, if you step out of that instant gratification for just a moment and you wait a month, 2 months, you'll realize that you really don't even really want that thing anymore. Most of the things people buy in the want category are instant gratification things. They see it and they must have it right then. But oftentimes, it's a fleeting thought. If they just waited another week, another month before they went and bought it, they'd find out that it's not really that important. It's not really that serious. They don't really want it anyway. And they move on to the next thing. You have to look long term, especially when you're borrowing money. So now, what is good debt? What is good debt? Let's talk about good debt, right? So good debt is when you understand that you can borrow money and then turn that money into more money, right? So it is often said that, it takes money to make money. I strongly agree with that. You can have all the knowledge that you want to have in the world. You can have all the talent you want to have in the world. You can have all the experience you want to have in the world. All the execution ability that you want and that you can have in the world. But guess what? if you don't have the money, right, to fuel this beautiful car that you've built to get it from point A to point B, your car is just a beautiful car that sits in park. It can't go anywhere. So the fact of the matter is, yes, it takes money to make money. That is the reality. But nobody ever said that it took your money to make money. And that's the key. And so, when people hear that and they say, okay, it takes money to make money, but, there's OPM. Maybe people always talk about OPM, other people's money, right? And so when people talk about OPM, they think about borrowing money from friends and family, and getting friends and family to invest in them. Hey, look, if you got good credit, if you have great credit, fact of the matter is, OPM can be the bank's money. Hello? OPM ain't got to be friends and family money. If you got great credit and you've been maintaining your credit properly, hey, OPM is the bank's money. And see, the thing about it is, right now, like in this economic environment where, okay, consider it like this, right? So, if bank rates right now, if you got great credit, you can walk in and get a loan for about 5%. Let's just call it 5%, right? All right. So, now you got this money that you borrowed at 5%. This is good debt. Now, check this out. This is how good debt works. It's crazy when you really look at it, right? You take that money, right? And instead of financing a vacation, you put it into, let's say you put it into an index fund. Let's say you do that, right? Well, index funds, we know, and I've said this before, from a historical standpoint, generated 10 to 12% per annum rate of return on average. So you were able to take your money, right, plus the bank's money, and magnify your returns, right? Because you use bank financing to be able to increase the amount of money you have to deploy into investment assets that are going to make more money for you. So if it's generating a 10 to 12% per annum rate of return, right? Let's just call it 10. And you only got a 5% interest rate on it. Well, you 5% to the good. And that 5% is magnified by your money plus the bank's money. You 5% to the good. Look at that. Now, check this out. We can't forget inflation. Inflation, on average, is 3% a year. So when you borrow that money, you got to remember, you got to think about inflation, too. So if you borrow at 5%, add 3 to it, you got 8%. Well, heck, even at 8%, even if the index fund generates you 2%, 10%, you still made 2% to the good, and you magnified that gain by using good debt. Okay, now check this out. Let's look at another situation. You borrow the bank's money, right? You borrow the lender's money to go in and do a rehab on a property. You do a rehabilitation, right? You find the property, it's a great property. You do all the analysis and due diligence on the property, and you know this is a great property. You see you can get it for 50 grand, but if you go ahead and put, $10,000 worth of work into it, you might be able to sell it for 100 grand. You go and get the money from the bank. The whole 60. Turn around and sell it for the 100. This is great debt. You got to get into a property with little or no money out of your pocket, right? You might put 10% down. You might put 20% down. Heck, if you're using dohardmoney.com, if it's a good enough property, they do 100% on for you right there. So that's a little gem for you right there. You put in your back pocket if you like. But, for all you real estate investors out there. But, here's the interesting thing about it. That's good debt. Using somebody else's money to make more money for yourself. Right? Because, one thing you learn about, when you get to a certain level in financial security, one thing you learn is, I might be making all the money in the world. That doesn't mean I want to tie my money up into an investment if I can take somebody else's and tie it up and still see a healthy return. Why would I tie up my cash flow? Because at the end of the day, see, what we talk about in finance a lot is the net present value of money. The fact that money is worth more in my hand today than it's worth in 5 years. We always add a discount value to money, right? So, money later is always worth less than it is today. You know what I mean? So, and the reason why that is because if I deploy that capital into, let's say, a piece of real estate or some securities or whatever, right? At the end of the day, I'm losing out on other opportunities that I could have deployed that capital into. So there's an opportunity cost loss there, right? But at the end of the day, right? Check this out. If I could keep my money in my hand, my profits in my hand and go to the bank and go get their money and deploy their money into my investments and make more money for myself with their money, why wouldn't I do that? That's smart. That's good thinking. That's turning the financial model on its head. Yeah, they getting their interest. They're making their money. The system is working just fine. But they getting theirs, and most definitely believe I'm getting mine. See what I'm saying? So I want to talk about good debt and bad debt. I just want you to give you a little perspective on this thing, right? Take that money. If you go borrow money from the bank, and listen, I cannot stress the importance of good credit. Good credit is a lifeline. Good credit is a lifeline. Yo, if you got a 720 or better mid-FICO score, hey, listen, if you can't walk into a bank and get $50,000, something's wrong with you. Something's wrong with you. And if you got access to $50,000, baby, you on your way to wealth. You on your way if you deploy that capital properly. That's a fact. Think about it like this. Let's say you had $50,000 of the bank's money at the beginning of 2020 and you invested it all in Bitcoin. How much of that money we worth today? Heck, you could sell your Bitcoin, put money in your pocket, pay the bank back, and then go back to that same bank and go get that money later again. They'll be happy to give it to you because you've proven that you can pay them back quickly. They want to give you money. See what I'm saying? It's all about being smart in your thought process. It's all about shifting your mentality and shifting the alignment of your thoughts to be able to understand that you make money work for you. You don't go out and work for that money. You make it work for you. You go out and get that bag, and then you deploy that capital into the market and make that money make more money for you. And so I wanted to talk about that a little bit today. I just wanted to have a little discussion about that. Kind of wanted to break that down a little bit. And I want to give y'all something else to think about too. You know, one of the things I've heard a lot over the course of my career is, Fredrick, why don't you take a vacation? You know, it seems like you're always working. You work so hard, and, you know, it seems like you never take a vacation. You never take a break. You never rest. You never do anything like that. Listen, at the end of the day, here's the thing. Let me tell you what my opinion of a vacation is, right? So, you know, when a person saves up all year to take a vacation, right? Here's the interesting thing about that. So people that save up all year to take vacations, generally they're 9-to-5 employees. And here's what happened. I'm going to tell you a story. Here is my opinion of what happens with these people. Everybody, when they start off in life, has a dream, right? They have a dream. They have this thing that they want it to be when they grow up. You know, everybody as a kid has it. Hell, when I was a kid, I thought I wanted to be a fighter pilot. That's what I thought I wanted to be. I thought I was going to be a fighter pilot in the United States Air Force. I made it to the military. I mean, I was in the Army. Like, I made it to the military. But I most definitely didn't become a fighter pilot. And it's because I realized that you needed 20/20 vision. And one thing about your boy, I ain't never had 20/20 vision. Ever. So becoming a fighter pilot was not in the cards for me. You know, I ain't had LASIK when I was growing up. I'm 36. I ain't have all that when I was growing up. So, you know, I just didn't think I'd ever become a fighter pilot. So that, you know, killed my dreams. But for most people, you know, they have this dream of what they want to be when they grow up. And some people actually start the whole college journey to become that thing. And then something happens. Life happens. So, you know, you might get pregnant along the way. It derails your dreams because now, you know, you got another mouth to feed. You know what I mean? So, you know, it takes time to accomplish a dream and a goal and an aspiration. But, you know, you can't tell your newborn that I'm going to feed you tomorrow. You know what I mean? Because I'm working on my dream today. No, they got to eat now. Sometimes, you know, you go off to college, you know, you get a degree. And, you know, you have this thought that, you know, I've got my degree now, my life is going to start. And then you graduate to the unfortunate reality of truth, right? Which is that a college degree does not guarantee a job in this economy, in this economic environment, right? And so now you realize that you put all this work and acquired all this student debt, right, that you have to pay every month. And now you got to get a job. So now you got to do something that you don't like to do. And then what happens, right? You start making money. And as you start making money, you want to be able to, enjoy the fruits of your labor. Again, the U.S. is an instant gratification consumer mentality. So, you make your money now, you want to feel like you've accomplished something. So you go get an apartment. Get a nice little laid apartment, get a car. Now you got to get you some insurance, right? Now you got to maintain maintenance on that car. You got to put gas in that car. All of these different things for the car. You got that apartment, so you got that rent every month. You got utilities every month now. You got all of these different things. All of these bills that you've acquired since you got your job. And so now you can't leave the job so easily. Because if you leave that job, how am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to continue to afford this new lifestyle that I've walked myself into, right? So people become chained to the job, right? They become unwilling, bonded agents to the job. And this is the unfortunate reality of what happens to people all the time. And so, when they take that vacation, they save up all year for it. They save up all their PTO days, all their vacation days. They save up a little money for it. Might even go off and get a credit card for it. That bad debt. You know what I mean? Because this vacation right here, I feel like I earned this, right? I done slaved all year at a job I hate. I'm taking this vacation. And when I get out there, I'm going to live my best life, baby. But here's the thing that happens, though, right? So what are vacations for these types of people? And this is most people, unfortunately. What is vacation for these people? Vacation is an escape from reality. For that 1 week, or 2 weeks, or 3 weeks, or 30 days, however long that vacation is, right? It is an escape from your reality. It is the opportunity for you to live the life that you really want to be living, but you never got the opportunity to achieve because you had to sacrifice, right? And you had to throw away your dreams or postpone your dreams or put your dreams on hold to face the reality of being an adult. That's reality. That is what vacation is for most people. I always know when I'm traveling around the world, those who have just started vacation and those that are getting ready to end their vacation. I always know them. Because the ones that have just started vacation, boy, they some of the joyous people in the world. Oh my God. Hey, how you doing? It's great out here. The weather is awesome. It's so beautiful, man. How you doing? They so chatty and so excited. Boy. But the ones that's getting ready to leave vacation, boy, they got the boo-boo face on, boy. Boy, let me tell you something, boy. They be grumpy. You be like, hey, how you doing? Oh, you about to go back home. Oh, you about to get back to that reality. Oh, I. Know what I mean? And it is very unfortunate that most people in this life live their lives that way. So when people ask me why I never go on vacation, I'm going to tell you why, right? Baby, I do what I love every single day of the week. I do what I love every day. I love what I do. And guess what? I do it for me. I do it for my kids. You know what I mean? I do it for my family. I do it for my legacy. You know what I mean? I do it for, you know what I mean, the progeny that I want them to go further than I did. You know what I mean? I do it for them. You feel me? I do it for me. I do what I love every day. And here's the beautiful thing about doing what I love doing for me every day. I have been so many different places in this world. Here's the crazy thing. Because I do it for me, right? Because I have my own business, I am my own business. Guess what? Check this out. Every time I go away on business overseas, it's business. Because it's business, it's a business expense. So I get to write it off against my profits at the end of the year and lower my tax liability. Wait, it gets better. I'm going to do business. I'm doing what I love every day. I'm going to increase my asset base, increase the holdings, increase the bag, right? And guess what? I'll leave and be over there for 2 weeks in the country. I might conduct business 3, 4, 5 days. The rest of the time, and while I'm conducting that business, by the way, I got a drink in my hand. I got my linen shirt on. I got my linen hat on. Know what I mean? I'm looking at somebody's ocean, letting the sun darken me on up now, and I'm going to write it all off. And I made money. And if I did 3 or 4 days of business, and I'm out there for 2 weeks, what the hell do you think I'm doing for the rest of the time? Either I'm looking at new investment opportunities, or I'm looking at somebody's water. I'm on vacation. I'm on a 24/7 vacation because I love doing what I do. It is never work. Yeah, it's stressful sometimes. Sure. It comes with its ups and downs, but I wouldn't do anything else with my life. See, this is that truth now. See, when you do it for yourself, listen, don't ever let temporary circumstances dictate your long-term outcomes. Let me say that to you again. Don't ever let temporary circumstances dictate your long-term outcomes. Huh? People get into temporary inconveniences and they make choices during those temporary inconveniences that alter the entire course of their life. Not realizing that they never had to. Because the temporary circumstances gonna pass, baby. They gonna pass. You know what I mean? So I guess what I'm saying at the end of the day, y'all, outside of, the discussion on good debt and bad debt, which we already had, is at the end of the day, whatever you do in this life, do it for you. Do it for you. Do the thing that you love doing. Does that mean it's going to automatically make money for you tomorrow? No. No, it doesn't mean that. Does it mean that you're not going to work your ass off? No, it don't mean that either. Oh, you going to work. Oh, don't think I don't put in the work. Don't think I don't put in the time. Oh, I put in the time. But I don't mind it because I do what I love doing every day. Let me tell you something that, you know what I mean? I never want, if you watch this video, if it's one thing you take away from this video outside of good debt and bad debt, I want you to take this one thing away from this video. Don't chase money. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't waste your time. Money is ever fast and ever elusive. The faster you chase after money, the faster it will run from you. I'm telling you. Chase passion. Chase passion. Because let me tell you something about passion. When you love what you do, when you're passionate about what you do, you're naturally good at it. Naturally. You have to try. Just fits who you are. So you're naturally good at it. And because you're naturally good at it and you have so much fun doing it and you love it so much, you don't mind doing it all day. You don't mind talking about it all day. So because you don't mind doing it all day, learning all you can about it, you know what I mean? You don't mind talking about it all day. You don't mind getting in the trenches with it every day. Guess what? Over time, you're going to naturally reach the highest levels your mental capacity will allow you to reach. And guess what? When you are maximizing your potential to the fullest, that right there is success. That is what success is. And when you find that level of success, I promise you, you will not have to worry about chasing the money. The money will chase you. And you will never outrun it. It's going to swallow you up. I promise you. I promise you. Promise you. So I just, you know what I mean? I wanted to share that with you. You know what I mean? I'm going to be live tomorrow because I got some big news to share with y'all tomorrow. I cannot wait. So I'm going to wait till tomorrow to say that though. But listen, I enjoyed spending time with y'all this evening. Of course, like always, I'm going to save this video. So please feel free to like, subscribe, follow, and share this video and this information with anybody that you think can benefit. Because the more people that hear this content, the more people that can be able to benefit. And that's my number one goal here, like with this stuff, man. I want y'all to benefit. I want y'all to win, man. I want y'all to be great. Like, yo, I'm tired of winning by myself, man. I want some other people to win with me, man. I want to toast some more, black folks in the community getting it. You know what I mean? And I'm not talking about, getting thousands. I'm talking about, I want to see you win. I want us to compete. You know what I mean? I want us to successfully be able to compete. You know what I mean? So look, at the end of the day, listen, my videos, these IG videos, they don't just go on my IG. They also go on my YouTube. So for those that are going to see this on YouTube, right? Again, okay, so for everybody. So first and foremost, for everybody, right? If you're on Instagram, there's a link in my bio, fredrickdscott.com. Please feel free to visit it. I've written some great books. I really think you should check them out. If you haven't got you one yet, get you one. I wrote on topics that I think could benefit you where you are. Investing for success, investment tips for, the everyday person. I wrote one on mastering Bitcoin, the ins and outs of cryptocurrency. If you think you want to get involved in cryptocurrency, I highly suggest you read that book first, right? Because it's a no frills, no thrills, no bullshit, straightforward from the top to bottom explanation of how it works, how cryptocurrency works. If you're at the stage where you're thinking about business grants, listen, I wrote a book on that. You know what I mean? Give you the truth of what business grants are, how they work, and what they're called, what they're titled, how they, a lot of different things there I think you could check out, right? If you're at that point in your business where, you're trying to move to an e-commerce platform and you're trying to get involved in, leveraging social media to put money in your pocket, right? I wrote a book on that. Social media marketing, profiting from social media. Y'all recommend you take a look at that book because it'll give you a lot of things to think about that you probably haven't heard before or you probably have thought of, but you didn't really think of it like the way it's laid out, right? And it gives you a really good understanding of how to begin to capture and monetize a social media following and a social media base. So I think that's really, really important as well, okay? So that link is in the bio, fredrickdscott.com/shop. For those that'll be seeing this on YouTube, that link is going to be in the description, fredrickdscott.com/shop. My IG is always at Fredrick D. Scott. You know what I mean? You go to my website, fredrickdscott.com. You know what I mean? You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on YouTube. I got my hashtag for the free resources right on my website. You know what I mean? You click on those. Need all the letters to fix your credit. They for the free, baby. Hashtag for the free. I put them out there for you. You know what I mean? Did a 4-part series just for y'all. You know what I mean? You want to learn about budget and saving? Hey, baby, I did a whole class on that. I did a whole series on that just for y'all. And I built a workbook just for you. Just click on the hashtag for the free resources. Get on in there. Check out what I got for you. It's downloadable. It's yours. I wrote them for you. I ain't asking you for nothing. I ain't charging for nothing for them things. They hashtag for the free. They written so well. All you got to do is populate your information in there. Hey, print them things out. Put them in an envelope. Lick that envelope closed for, the cost of maybe $1.50. You can begin to fix your credit. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Instead of paying people hundreds of dollars, you can do it for $1.50 with the way I laid it out. You know what I mean? So, hey, listen. Hey, a lot of people talk about making an impact, baby. A lot of people talk about that. Hey, bruh. Hey, ain't nothing to it but to do it, though, baby. And let me tell you something about making an impact, making a difference. One thing I want to tell you, one thing I want you to take away from this, check this out, right? It don't matter what your personal circumstance, situation are. Everybody got hard times. Everybody go through. And in a second, y'all gonna hear my story and y'all gonna be like, man, he did all of this in spite of going through all of that. You damn right. So check this out, right? I am living proof, and you're gonna find out here in just a second. I am living proof that no matter what your circumstances, situation are, no matter how hard you are, you can always give. You can always give because there's always somebody in a worse circumstances than you are. There's always somebody in a worse situation you're in. And there's always something to give. Your time, your knowledge, your resource. It ain't always got to be money. It can just be time, knowledge, resource, prayer, support. Just being a good listener. Allowing somebody to open up and pour out. Pouring into somebody's spirit. That might be the difference between them breaking and making it. Let's get real here. Hey, It take a community to make it, baby. Nobody gets anywhere by themselves. I sure certainly didn't get by myself. I ain't get that far by myself. I'm gonna just keep it a buck with ya. Cause it had been up to me all by my lonesome, I would have never got this far. And that's real. So you know what I mean? As I said before, like, subscribe, follow, share. You know what I mean? FredrickDscott.com/shop. Link in the bio on IG. Link in the description on YouTube. Yo, I appreciate y'all. Always listening to me. Always hanging out with me. Always willing to spend a little time with your boy. I appreciate y'all, all right? So y'all enjoy y'all Friday. Happy Friday, y'all. And let's get it. I holla.